So what's up, everyone? So Ukraine happened to one up themselves again. They finally were able to put their new Peklo drone missile drone, whichever one you would want to call it, into serial production, with the first batch already being delivered to their units on the front line. And believe me when I say they wasted no time in using them. They had already launched some of these drones. They were delivered, I believe, about a dozen of them, with their first targets, of course, being Russian oil depots. But will this be another case of too little too late? Or will they actually be able to make a difference on the battlefield? But let's go ahead and dive into the pros and cons of Ukraine's new missile drone. But real quick, if you wouldn't mind pressing like and subscribing, if you're not subscribed, that'd be awesome. It helps get the word around, and yeah, I'd appreciate it. So let's jump in. So, as most of you know, Ukraine has been heavily dependent on Western aid, mainly military aid. They have been trying to get, uh, self-reliant over the years, but they have been lacking the funds, the investment. I mean, not to mention they're trying to do all these things during a war. Um, I'm sure another issue would be these factories getting blown up and stuff, but I'm sure they would find a way to work around all that if they just had the investment and the money to do these things. So I know that that has been a huge issue with Ukraine being self-reliant in that sense. However, they have been, I mean, just inventing amazing things over this war. But real quick, my own personal opinion, the fact that Ukraine is having to worry about whether or not the West will cut aid for them when the Trump administration comes in is just a super sad situation. I mean, people are there losing their lives every day, and the thought that they may lose that aid for whatever reason is really sad. And I mean, there should be no issue that stands in the way of saving people's lives, especially women and children. But Ukraine is, doing their best to try and solve the issue with them relying on other countries in case that aid were to end up stopping. And with the Trump administration about to come in, that is a harsh reality that may take place January 20th. And that's where these new missile drones that they have been, well, first of all, they've been inventing and coming up with just amazing cutting edge weaponry over these past almost 3 years, from the sea babies to their Polonitia. I cannot pronounce that word. I just probably butchered that really bad. And then their Peklo. I hope I said that right. Well, in English it means hell, I think. It's a lot easier to say that. But let's just hope here in the future they're able to start mass producing them and start pumping them out in such a volume to where it'll actually make a difference on the battlefield. Um, I guess that is kind of wishful thinking. I don't think it's going to be any one certain weapon that changes anything significantly on the battlefield, but this is just another um step in that direction. But I would have to say the biggest plus out of this whole situation of Ukraine making their own drones, missiles, equipment, whatever it is that is made by them, for them, is the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody in the world, will be able to dictate how they use it. They could use it any way they see fit. And that is how it should have been with anything that has been donated to them. The fact that people could limit their use, even though they gave it to them, I guess that's not even the right word to say they gave it to them when there, restrictions on this or that. That is so ridiculous that is even a thing. but that is probably the biggest plus with Ukraine starting to put into serial production these types of weapons because nobody will be able to tell them what to do with it, what they can't do with it. Um, and that is just awesome. That is just awesome. And Ukraine is doing an absolutely fabulous job of defending their land and bleeding the Russian military. I mean, they are just their numbers, their losses are just astronomical. They are just insane. Uh, I cannot believe. I always wondered to myself, do they know how many of their fellow soldiers are actually, unalived and I mean, they have to know that, once their comrades go out and they don't come back, something bad happened. But if they knew the actual number, would they, or is just the money just that big of a thing for them? I just can't wrap my head around the fact that they're able to go into this conflict knowing that their life expectancy is super short and they more than likely are going to be going home in a box if they even get home at all, because it doesn't seem that the Russian military cares too much about them, um, or whether they get their remains back or not. And it seems that the Ukrainian people are so much more. They seem so much more like Americans that they actually love and they care about each other, which is a very touching and important thing. Life is a very very precious thing, and the Ukrainian people seem to value life definitely unlike the Russian everybody basically anybody who well I don't want to say everybody who's Russian because there's a few um cool no they seem cool, but anyways they're everybody that believes in Putin seems to not care about life too much. But anyways, I guess that's it for me, so I hope everybody has a good one, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.